What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend, and honestly today was a pretty slow day in the market overall. I still made my daily profit on TSMP because of these predictable moves. Like always, I've been talking about them for years. Same thing every single day. We actually had a couple of things I've talked about. We had a good dip buy, but then we also had a good breakout of the consolidation that forms a wedge. I don't know why that happens so predictably on this stock, but it really does. I took live recordings of both of those trades to show to you guys, and I want to talk about that. And I also want to talk about something else that's going on overall in the market. Now, if you recall, I posted some videos, I don't know if it was yesterday, it must have been yesterday. Wow, that feels like a really long time ago, but I posted some videos yesterday talking about these stocks that exploded, 1,000% in one day. And, we're getting into a market where it's kind of setting a precedent that's a little scary if you're a retail trader on the long side. And what that is these halts happen where it's a circuit breaker halt, which is, your typical 5-minute halt that happens when a stock spikes a certain percentage too much or falls too much within a given period. Now, these halts are going from 5-minute halts, but then they're being extended into these T1 halts. And in these T1 halts, which is halted pending news, the companies come out and say, I have no idea why my stock is up this much. Nothing has changed about the company that, warrants a increase like this. The stock reopens 3 hours later after being halted that entire time, and anyone who bought up here opens up to an instant 50% loss, which makes it really, really scary if you're trying to trade these types of stocks. So I don't like the precedent that this is setting. It is messing with the free market. I'm honestly not a big fan of it. So I'm going to show you some charts and show you, what you guys can do to avoid getting caught in trades like this where you instantly, like that, lose 50% of your money, because that would suck, especially if you're going in with big size. So let's get into the charts and I'll show you guys the live trades as well. All right, guys, this is the chart for UUU, and this is one of the example stocks that I was talking about that got halted multiple times, which ended up completely screwing over people on the long side. So if you're looking here at this chart, this is starting in pre-market and this is going right to market open. And I mean, this looks pretty darn bullish overall. We have a very nice uptrend here, higher lows and higher highs every time it rips through. And you can see, this is actually a really good example of why I love the rip and then kind of the curl up pattern, because, it happens here. Once it breaks through the highs, it spikes up, it rips up here, tanks back down, curls back up, and once it rips through the highs, that's another great place to buy the breakout. And it looks like it's happening here, man. We get this, we get a nice spike up, and I think there might be another one actually right after this when the market opens. And it's probably going to break out past this and go on a big run, because if I'm not mistaken, this is a pretty short float stock. I mean, low float stock as well. But this is what happened, man. It spiked up, it got halted going up, and then it came down and got halted going down, and that turned into a T1 halt, which lasted a couple hours. And when it reopened, you ready for this? Look at that! What in the world? So if you bought this here in anticipation of the breakout of $14, it's got up to $13.94 in this candle. If you bought here in anticipation of the breakout of $14, it opened down here at $7.48. You lost nearly 50% like that. Well, obviously not like that because you had to wait because it kept getting halted. But, that is just horrible, man. This is terrifying. So I, at this point, would be scared to trade stocks like this, on this type of volume. I think a lack of substantial news. They say they're unaware of the reason behind unusual trading activity. So this is the same exact news that we had yesterday on RHE and ACY, I believe that's what it was. The same thing happened, they halted. It's halted for 5 minutes, but then that 5-minute halt turned into something way longer, and they released the news that says we don't know why it's up, and then it tanks down. So definitely want to avoid stuff like this. If it's up this much, you can see here, it was up already all the way from $3. So I'm not getting up to trade at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever this is. 4 a.m., is that when it starts? Something like that. So, you can see here, there's not really a great opportunity to get in here. I guess this might have been after hours yesterday. Okay, yeah, so maybe if you got in yesterday, in here, but it was already still up a lot. Maybe in anticipation or something. But, it's just tough. That's a very tough entry. And if you're buying here, you're chasing a lot at that point. If it's already up from $3 to $12, there's a long way it can fall. And especially, if I'm not mistaken, this is on the Amex exchange, and that is the one that we're really having issues with. So be aware of that. I think if it's on NASDAQ, it is not as bad. Someone please correct me in the comments if I'm incorrect about that, but RHE and ACY were both Amex. I believe this one was as well. So just be very careful of stocks like that. You know, we have another example of stocks that are just failing. What is it, TCCO? Look how high this spiked in pre-market, man. This went all the way up to, I mean, that is, look at that run, man. That is absolutely wild. To 20, yeah, it started, you know, at 4 a.m. basically. This went all the way up to over 20, $23. $24.50. That's crazy. That's crazy. But you know, I think short sellers are getting very aggressive because of what's been happening in the market. So if you're a short seller and you short sell, let's go to ACY just so you guys can see that move real quick. If you short sold yesterday, if you short sold in this move, this could have turned into a GLSI. This could have turned into a WNW, where this thing continues on up to $160, and you're completely screwed if you have 100,000 shares. But in this case, because of that halt, it tanked and it came back down. So there's people now where like they're going to be more aggressive when they're shorting because they assume that it's going to be halted and then have these crazy tanks, and everyone, because they're scared of those halts, they're going to be less likely to buy when it gets up here. So it's going to be more easy for shorts to win the battle, and those shorts are going to be less likely to be squeezed. So just in general, this has been kind of the trend that I've been seeing. You know, because of that, I think most of the stocks that spiked today really didn't do super well, and we had a lot of red days on a lot of stocks for that reason. Now, actually, RHE had another day where it went up 100% at one point. You know, so this went up from it opened at 267 and went all the way up to 617. So I mean, this still had a beautiful run. So if this was on your watch list today because it made the move yesterday and you saw my video, that's awesome. Maybe you were able to take advantage of it. Still low float, you know, still definitely in play. I didn't get to play this because I was focused on other stuff. So this is actually what I was focused on, but I found this one too late, and this is what pisses me off because this is the perfect overnight setup for an OTC stock. So this is OTC, and this stock had the perfect day yesterday. I mean, this is literally exactly what you want to see. Uptrending all day long and then a spike in a close. That is a really good sign you should overnight this because it's very, very likely to gap up. And if you had done that, man, this thing opened up at 50 cents. If you sell right at open, you're chilling here. But there was definitely, you know, a little panic at open. And this is the perfect example of these panics that I talk about on TSMP. This happens all the time on OTC especially. And on OTC, the bounces tend to be a lot cleaner and the tanks tend to be a lot cleaner. So you can see these are 1 minute candles, you know, all red, all green, all red. We get green and then all red. So it's like, it's not like red, green, red, green, red, green like we get on a lot of these NASDAQ stocks with a ton of volume. This stock was very, very clean. And if you were able to buy the dip here, that would have been insane. You know, it would have been very obvious when it was turning, and you would have got an instant, I don't even know what is that? From 33 to 45? I mean, that's a pretty decent return on your money for less than 10 minutes. So just looking for plays like this is always a great way to make money on this stock. I actually lost $12 on this because I ended up trying to chase. I think I got it somewhere in here. What was that? I'm trying to find that order. COUV 28, somewhere in there. Yeah, so I think I got it like, I want to say it was like in here. I might have gotten it here, and then it went up, and then it came down on me. So, I mean, I definitely underestimated this thing. If I had held it longer, it could have gone up. But, you know, I'm not taking the risk. I always cut my losses quickly, and I don't let them get away from me. You know, that's all I'm going to say on that. So, in this case, today you can actually see I'm overall negative on the day, and that is because I made the decision to cut TTCF. If you guys are interested in that, I'll show you this chart really quickly. But basically, it's been having a lot of red days. And I'm not sure based on this chart if it's going to keep falling. So I mean, this could fall down to 20. I could see it falling to 20. So I can't handle that. I can't handle that risk, and I would rather have my buying power. You see I got another, 3,400 of buying power that I'll be able to use soon because I sold this stock. So I think for me, swing trades are not really the move overall. If we get a really good setup on this, if it breaks out to all-time highs past this level, I'll probably buy it then. Or if it dips down, and gets some good support in the 20 area, I'll try to rebuy it then. But if it rebounces, tomorrow we could definitely see a green day on that stock, and I would be missing out on that. But at this point, I can't handle that risk. I don't like being profitable on my trades, but then still watching my account get smaller. It's a bad feeling. So this was TSMP, what you've all been waiting for. And we had, a pretty similar thing to COUV. We had a great morning panic on this stock. I was watching this and I forgot to record on the dip that happened here. This was extremely fast, and it was kind of a weird dip because normally you'll get, I guess, a ton of sellers and then it, turns into a ton of buyers instantly. But in this case, it had a ton of sellers and then there were a ton of buyers, but there were still a ton of sellers. So because of that, I pulled the trigger kind of late on this dip buy. So you can see I tried to buy at 0.143. Like I saw it turning. It printed, I think, 0.1401 a ton of times before it actually moved up, but it was still printing like on both sides, red and green. So I wasn't sure. And you can see I placed the order here, but didn't get filled, and it instantly bounced up. So I missed that. And I ended up chasing this one. And I got filled right as it broke out through 15, and I got filled at 15.01, and then I ended up selling half at 15.78, and I ended up taking the other half off the table. When was it? Yeah, so I got out 15.78, and then I took the other half off the table when it failed here. I took it off in here in this area. So that was the bounce play on that. And again, I'm taking really small size, guys. I had someone DM me. I'll try to put the picture up here, but he got in the bounce with like 300,000 shares, and he made like, I don't know, $5,000, $6,000. So if you have more size, these plays are still just as predictable. I'm trading small. I'm trading carefully, trying to make sure I don't, destroy all the gains that I've made with a big loss, because I'm just trying to get over the PDT rule. Even if I get to 20,000, I can put in another 5,000 and then I'll be set. So really all I need to do is get a couple more thousand in profit. And if I just keep making 100 a day on TSMP, I'll get there, very shortly. So that is the goal. And then the other one that I did was actually something that if you've been watching my videos, you should know about this play. So, I'll show you guys this here. But, this was a very nice consolidation that we saw here. It was like this. This is what I saw. So I saw this consolidation here on the top end, and then on the bottom end, I saw this here, with higher lows. That's what it looked like to me. So I was thinking, all right, when this breaks out, I think it's probably going to be set. But I'm going to wait until it breaks out, not just past the trend line, but past this high here at 15.8, just to be sure. So that's what I did there. You can see I stopped out there. COUV trades. And then, so you can see I got in. As soon as I saw it break 15.8, I think I believe I put it in, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I waited for it to hit 15.9 or something like that. But pretty much as soon as it broke out over this, I put in a limit order for 16.01, and I ended up getting filled just under 16. And then I pretty much just rode that up and took half off like I normally do, and then took the other half off at 16.9. So it was pretty nice, man. That was a good trade. Between those two trades, I got over $100. And these moves are very predictable, man. These breakouts, the consolidation breakouts and the dip buys on TSMP, I absolutely love. They're very predictable. I think you guys should definitely learn these if you can. I'm going to go show the recording now just so you guys can see. So here's the first trade. Here's the first trade that I took. You can see this is kind of what it looks like. So I already canceled my order at 14.3, and I'm wondering at this point, is it going to be worth it? So I guess when I didn't get executed here, I waited because I wasn't sure how high it would bounce, and I was waiting to see if it could break over that 15 psychological resistance. So that's what you see here. I'm waiting. I'm seeing it print in a ton of 14.99. As soon as I see it print 15, I'm gonna be trying to get in. I see it print a ton, absolute ton. Ton of 14.9. You can see the buyers are just insane on this one. There's definitely a hidden seller who's hiding his size, but I'm thinking there's enough buyers that it's not going to matter. There you go. It prints 15 with 200,000. Got some big buyers in there. I'm hoping I get executed on this, so I put it at 15.2 just to be sure, because I figure it's probably going to break out past 15 before I can get it. Now it's 15.02. I'm still not in. Only half. Only a partial fill so far. And that's annoying, man. Getting executions on OTC is part of what makes it so tough. But luckily, I'm able to get the rest there at 15.01. Or maybe I got half at, just under and half at just over. So the average is 15.01, something like that. But you can see there, that's what I got. And I'm able to ride this up as it continues on up. And it's a pretty nice trade, man. Pretty nice trade. Is like 30 minutes probably of recording, so I don't want to make you guys sit through all this, but you get the picture, man. I do this every day, and it's a very predictable move. Always take some profits off the top because you never know where it's going to fail. So in this case, I took some off there. Got filled at 15.78, which turned out to be a good thing in this case. And I would say it might be like 50-50. Sometimes when I sell, it continues to go on past where I sold. And then sometimes when I sell, it's tanks as soon as I sell it, and that first sell ends up being the higher position. So overall, I think it averages out to make me have more profitable trades overall, and that's the goal. Honestly, that's the goal. So you can see here, it looks like it's trying to bounce, but it ends up breaking through, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I just want to get out. So I end up taking the rest. Filled at 15.28. So that was that first trade. Again, I wish I'd gotten executed there because, I saw it, but I didn't pull the trigger in time. And, I'm getting better about that. I think it's something that you just need to get a feel for it and have confidence in yourself and know when to pull the trigger and just get better about doing that. So that's something that I need to do. And then here's the second one. So you can see here again, I already have this set up. This is exactly what I'm looking at. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to put this position in as soon as it breaks out past 15.8. There you go. You can see it's printing 15.8. There's a ton of buyers there. Starts printing 15.9, and as soon as I see that, I try to get in at 16.01. And again, I'm giving it a little bit of headway because I don't want to chase too much on my entry, but I also want to make sure that I get executed if we're going to have a nice breakout. So, this is what it looks like. And I actually got filled, and it didn't break out past 16, so I got filled at, I think, 15.99. Yeah, so you can see there I got filled at 15.99, and it didn't break out immediately. So I'm thinking, am I going to need to cut? If this tanks back down, I'm cutting, baby. I'm cutting. I'm getting out. How far is it going to go? 15.95, 15.94. That's not so good on the buyer end. But then it goes back up to 15.99. We see 130,000 buyer come in. We got some 50,000 buyers. So, definitely printing more on the buying side at this point. Definitely more green. And then we see 16. It upticks to 16.1. I'm thinking, all right, for sure profitable on this trade now. How high is it going to go? It's going to reject 16, or is it going to come back down? 16.2. Got some big red prints. I'm thinking, all right, maybe I just take the whole thing off right here and try to get out at break even. But there's still some big buyers, so it's just kind of like, I'm going to wait. We see 250,000, 300,000 total. It's like 500,000 right there in buyers. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm probably set at this point. You can see the $40 profit so far. And I end up taking half off the table right around here, just because I'm not sure if it's going to fail and crack back under 16. So I'm thinking, all right, where am I going to do this? I saw it continuing to fall, so I just want to make sure I got out, and locked in those profits. Because if I get out half at 16.29 and then half at 16 or just under, that's still a profitable trade overall. So I'm still profitable on the trade, and that is the goal. But then it continued to spike. Had a little more patience here. Just waiting to see what was going to happen. See if it was going to break 17. Still mostly green prints at this point. 16.7, 16.8, 16.9. At this point, I think I took another. Okay, yeah. So at this point, I took another 2,500 off the table. So I took another half of my half off the table, which is actually another thing you can do. You know, if you want to let it keep running, but still lock in more profits. And that was actually a good thing in this case that I did that. So you can see it ends up tanking down here. Ends up cutting. I got to replace the order. And then I end up getting out, man. I end up getting out right before it goes on a big tank. Where was 7? Where was that? Yes, I mean, I sold pretty close to the top there, honestly. Pretty close to the top. So I'm just, I'm grateful that I was able to do the trade well. And, it's helpful to read the price action. All you got to do is continue practicing, man. The more you trade a stock, the better you get to know it. There's people like this with Tesla, with Apple. I just, I like to do with this stock because I feel like it has a little bit more significant moves. I'm definitely going to be watching this stock in the future. COUV, see what happens on that one, because that is the type of volatility that I like. This is definitely more opportunities for making money than, moving 1 or 2 cents. So definitely want that. This one I was also watching today a little bit. It was up pretty big, from 0.2 of a cent to 0.7 of a cent. But I ended up not getting in this one. This one, from what I've heard, as far as the company goes for an OTC stock, it's a decent company. So if you guys want to look into this one, definitely check this one out. I'm not in it currently just because I wasn't a huge fan of the way it was trading. I don't like this price action. I get bored pretty easily, and when it's not moving at all, I don't like that, especially when there's these massive drops. I don't like that because there's no way for me to manage risk. This one, just as an update, again, I sold out at 16.07. Right as it hit up here, because I was on this day right here, I sold because I was thinking, this is pretty high. This is quite the run it's been on. I'm going to take some profits. So I was in from 330, I believe, on that one. 335. So just waiting to see what's happening. This was a swing trade, and this one, yeah, again, not sure what it's going to do. It could definitely bounce, and I'll miss out. But I'm probably not going to get back in it until either the 20s or it breaks out of these all-time highs. Anyways, guys, that is it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you found it helpful, please smash that like button because you made it this far. You're 1 in a million. You are a true fan, and I appreciate that. So, you might as well support by smashing the like button. If you've made it this far and you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. As always, until then, let's grow better together. Preguntar, bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.